Thanksgiving in America is a time where people can come together, celebrate, and give thanks for all that they have. It is revered by most for the people that they share it with, the day's traditions, and of course, the food. We can all remember Thanksgiving days of the past where our grandmothers or mothers were slaving away in the kitchen and all the wonderful activities that surround that day's meal. All very special times for sure. But what happens when you go from being the attendee to now the host of such a big holiday? There is so much to do and to think about. Would you even know where to start? Hi, my name is Chris Hyde, and my team members and I are here to help. We intend to lower your anxiety levels a bit by giving you some key pointers. First, I will discuss how to create the day's guest list. Next, Bree will talk about how to create a warm and inviting atmosphere. Next, John will talk about how to create the day's menu. And following that, Jarrett will talk about how to prepare the Thanksgiving Day dinner. And lastly, Emily will talk about how to plan and prepare the day's desserts. So the first thing to think about is, who do we want to be there? How do we create that guest list? There's many things to consider. First is, how much space do you have? Do you want to pack in your guests like sardines with very little elbow room to possibly socialize and move around and enjoy the dinner? Or do you want to underutilize your space, having plenty of room? Well, what is optimal? So Linda Paradiso from Entertaining Best You Can Get states that 12 square feet per guest is optimal for this type of setting. So what does that mean? Well, that means roughly 10 to 16 people for an average sized dining room. But you can increase your occupancy by just adding another table to another room. Again, something to consider. Next is, how much can you afford? Ashley Redmond from the Huffington Post states that Thanksgiving Day dinner costs roughly $5 per person. So if you have those 16 guests, that's $80 right there. But what that doesn't include is your dessert or any other preparations that you've made for that day. So how much you can afford certainly goes into how many people you invite. Next is, what's your cooking capacity? If you're going to have 20 people, do you need 2 turkeys and many other accompanying dishes? Do you have room in that oven or that stovetop for 2 turkeys and all that extra food? Again, something else to consider when putting this together. Next is, who do you want to be there? What type? Is it the family? Is it friends? Or is it a mixture of both? You see, I come from a traditional family back east where it was always family and only family at these type of holidays. But now my wife and kids have moved 3,000 miles away. So naturally our family are now our friends. So we naturally have a mixture of both. Again, something to think about when creating this list. Next is, what type of special guest considerations are there? And what do you have to do? Well, what do I mean by that? So Christianity has its roots heavily in Thanksgiving. And a lot of people plan their holidays around their faith. They even say prayers before their dinners. So if you plan on having individuals of a different faith, are you comfortable with them partaking in your day based around faith? And are they comfortable to be around yours? Again, something to consider. Next is food allergies, and this is a really big concern. 15 million Americans have food allergies to 170 different types of foods. So are you willing to change around your menu to accommodate their food allergies, or are you going to invite guests that can just enjoy the menu that you've already put together? Again, something to help shape this list of yours. Lastly is, are we willing to have that uncle or that friend that creates some friction or drama at our holiday dinner? We all have had those people around, and is that something that you want to contend with? Me personally, I choose to leave drama out of it and make sure that my guests are certainly compatible with one another. So knowing who you want to attend this big day is certainly, the first step. But there's other things that you have to think about is how to welcome and create a comfortable atmosphere for those guests. So creating that warm and inviting atmosphere is something that Bree will now discuss. Bree, take it away.